Now, this is the French Airbus A340, and this is the Russian equivalent of it, the Ilyushin Il-96. And you know, these Soviet airplanes, I would love to be able to fly them, at least in a flight simulator, to find out what quirks they have, to find out why did the Ilyushin Il-96 kind of fail. I mean, only 30 of these were built. The plane was introduced around the same time where the A340 was introduced, but it's almost impossible to fly this airliner because the only airline that actually does fly this plane is Cubana de Aviación. And if you fly this airline once, you will never be able to enter the United States again. Now, another operator of the Il-96 is Putin. And that's kind of it. But everybody, good news. We can finally experience what it's like to fly the fake A340 because we've got a brand new add-on for it in the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 marketplace. It costs 11 euros and it is absolutely hideous. No, genuinely, this is the worst add-on I've ever seen in my entire life, and we're gonna have a look at it. For some reason, it's got 3.4 stars. It's made by M Scenery, who's known for making bad aircraft. Anyway, look, I mean, the picture here isn't even centered. The airplane is way too offset to the left for some reason. Now look at this, highly detailed modeled, fully animated, frame rate friendly in single and multiplayer. Highly detailed textures, 4K to 8K high. This is all a lie, by the way. Look at the cockpit here. Oh my god, that is just a disgrace of an airplane. And it's funny because when you buy this airplane, I rated this as 1 star, by the way, for 12 euros, they say as of 2024, the Il-96 is used as a main Russian presidential aircraft. The type's only remaining commercial operator in passenger service is Cubana de Aviación, which is, by the way, directly copied from Wikipedia. They don't even give you the opportunity to fly these operators because there is no livery. There only is a white livery. There's one livery, and the problem is this airplane sucks so much that no one bothers to make, you know, an add-on livery for it. But let's go ahead and indulge into the absolute weirdness of this add-on airplane here. I mean, here it says max altitude 58,000 feet. What? That's practically more than the Concorde can do. What the hell? And fuel endurance 18 hours. Range 14,000 nautical miles. The stats are totally wrong. There's no way this plane can fly longer and further than the 787. That just makes no sense. Before you spawn into this airplane, you realize that it's bad. What the hell is the thing is way too far offset to the left. Now, I don't know how they got the values here. The maximum takeoff weight here available is 987,000 pounds, which is double the maximum takeoff weight of any configuration of this airplane. Huh? So this absolutely sucks. All right, I spawned into the single livery. Let's maybe try to get some Cuban flair right here and spawn into some Cuban airport. It's a shame. I really wanted to see what it's like flying this plane. Oh, under normal conditions, the usual takeoff speed of a fully loaded 747 is around 1 on the first transit. This is using. Why are we showing? Yes, everybody, it turns out this plane is just a model of the 747 that has very bad texturing of an Ilyushin 96 on it. And it's really dreadful. Now, look at this cockpit here. You may think, oh, it's very nicely turquoise, as it is in real life. You know, all of the Soviet cockpits. But it doesn't really look anything like the real Ilyushin Il-96. The 96-400 looks like this. Very much different. We have this autopilot module here, and this here. This is completely not there. This is completely missing. This makes no sense. Look at the overhead panel. Completely different. This looks... What? Now, yes, the functionality of this plane is just dreadful indeed in the flight sim. Once again, I paid 12 euros to not be able to use any buttons here of the overhead panel. They all don't work. But hey, at least they made the effort to translate whatever the Russian stuff is saying here on the overhead panel. Like this is translated into English. It's just not usable. In fact, there are only like 4 usable switches here in the cockpit. I think it's one of those here. The all switch on the light does the battery. Don't ask me how. The lamp does the APU. Hey, at least we can turn on the strobe light. And the fuel switch, the leak switch, does the engine start. I have no idea. I feel like they just, you know, put random switches to random positions because they could not be bothered. They did not care at all. This is the most unlovable add-on in the world. Now, I don't know what this does here. This has no description done to it. Like, well, the only other buttons that work is this. No idea what they do. Great. Neither does this make any sense here. I feel like they just have switches that are animated, but they don't do anything as well. Meanwhile, our engines are turning on from our few switches. Great. And we can see the 747 primary flight display. Now, it really annoys me that the primary flight display is on the right and not on the left. And also, it's completely hidden by this hideous yoke. Now, this plane does not have radios. This plane does not have a flight management computer to enter a route in. It is the worst, useless airplane in the world. But before we get any further, let's take a look at the outside modeling, which looks pretty good. You know, the Il-96 looks, quite interesting indeed. It has very, very presidented winglets because maybe in design they thought, oh, it look cool. Why was it Italian accent? It's just probably way too big to be aerodynamically efficient. But hey, it's the largest winglet in the world. Very interesting indeed. Now, what is interesting about the Il-96 is its design, and that it's quite short and quite thick. Like, you know what? This plane looks exactly like that one airplane from the Minions scene. And I'm not kidding. This plane is also quite fat and quite short. It's genuinely the very same airplane. That's actually very funny. If you compare it to the A340, it has the very same wingspan, but it's actually almost 10 meters shorter than the A340, making it look a little bit stubby, Now, back to the model of the Microsoft Flight Sim. It's absolutely hideous. You can always see the center of the viewpoint here is here and not in the center of the airplane. So it's almost impossible to properly have a look at this plane, especially the tail section. Now the engines are turning on. They are running. At least we have an animation of that. The APU isn't running. We don't have an animation of that. It's generally funny. If this thing was free, I wouldn't actually even download it. It just sucks so much. Just the modeling is completely incomplete. It is really odd that on closer examination, for example, the middle landing gear doesn't lead anywhere. It's not actually connected to the airplane. Like, how hard would it have been to just... I don't know. That's just insane. But at least, look, we have a center landing gear, just like the A340, talking about this plane being a fake plane. Now, the landing gear isn't completely round. Great. Now, upon entering this airplane for the first time, by the way, why do we have two of the same exact engine screens? That's so dumb, and we can't even switch them. But upon entering this airplane for the first time, you stumble across the throttle control, which is very interesting. This is very quirky. Obviously, 4 throttle handles for the 4 engines, that makes sense, but 3 of them, which are synchronized and do the exact same, I was like, oh, that's interesting, Il-96. So I looked it up. Why did they come up with such a design? They didn't. They never did. What? No. Now this is what the plane looks like in real life. We've got the spoiler and the flaps here. Spoiler and flaps. I couldn't find a single image online that had this throttle design. I've no idea how they could come up with this then. No, genuinely, I tried I was gonna give this airplane the benefit of the doubt, but no. But it gets even worse because normally, of course, once again, here would be the spoilers and the flaps. There are no handles to do that. There are no handles. There are no handles to do the spoilers or the flaps. You can maybe have a close listen here. Yeah, very, very close listen. Now you can actually hear, yes, the flaps coming out all the way, as you can see. And yes, at least we have a little bit of an animation of that. That is great, but the airplane does not animate slats. It doesn't have slats. What? How can you suck this much? And can we put the spoilers out at least? I'm trying. Doesn't work. We have no spoilers animated. I'm not kidding. And something we also that we don't have animated is reverse thrust. So even if we try to put in reverse thrust, which looks like this, reverse thrust full power, doesn't do anything. This is a dreadful airliner, to say the least. So no functionality at all. This is completely wrong. I've no idea what they did here with the rudder pedals, because they're not connected to anything. They're just like ghosts. Also, they don't even move. They don't move. Like this control surfaces move, but this doesn't move. At least, oh my god, the yoke doesn't even move properly, does it? What the hell is this? What the hell is that? This is not, oh my god. I don't know, man. This plane is just an absolute piece of... I mean, genuinely, why do the things... It looks like it's carved out of stone here. Anyway, let's slew ourselves onto the runway. I can't take any longer. All right, everybody. Look at this very round cockpit window. Wow, that will definitely be very stable. Let's go ahead and take off. Full power, and it sounds very nicely like the 747. I hate my life. Okay, all is fine. It is great how the yoke makes us be able to see stuff. No, it doesn't. I can't see anything. I can't see the values. I'm generally, how am I supposed to do that? I mean, the only thing that actually works at least is the airspeed indicator, the steam gauge. It's funny though, because the altitude indicator doesn't work at all. Nope. So this is a great piece of information. We know a lot about our airspeed and our altitude. Thank you very much. Let's try to rotate this airplane. Hello? Oh my god. Hello? We're at 200 knots. We're at 200 knots. Hello? Oh my god. What the hell? This plane just used the whole runway. By the way, we are at 270 knots, although the airspeed indicator is showing 190 knots. What? This plane couldn't be worse. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the landing gear up. At least that works. Positive rate. We have a performance of a fighter jet, it seems like. 320 knots already. Oh. Holy shit. That was, oh my god. The hydraulic pressure of this plane must be crazy. That was super quick. Now the airplane takes off super quick as well. This is just absolutely painful. I wish we were able to talk about this plane properly, but we can't. Like, again, why did they had the choice to do this, and they did this. What? By the way, talking about weird quirks, you can see that we're turning left, obviously, on the artificial horizon. But the backup artificial horizon shows that we're turning right. It is mirrored. It is mirrored. What the f? They couldn't have done a worse job at this. But the funniest part is when you actually go into the cabin, which there's a cabin animated. It's just not that good. I don't know why, but the seats, they don't look like airline seats. No one would do a headrest like this on an airliner. This is a car seat. Don't know how that, oh my god, the windows! Okay, the windows aren't necessarily round. Come on, it wouldn't have been harder just to subdivide here, you know, to make it a round surface. Also, the seats look weird. They're all like they're this would be way too heavy of an airplane here to have like seats that look like this. Like, this looks like proper toilet seats. Why would you have them? This looks like concrete fundament. Absolutely hideous, absolutely stupid. We've got, also the seats are way too small, it feels like. The Il-96 is not that huge. Look at the amount of headroom we have here. This looks, I mean, this is probably like miniature seats. There's no way the plane is as roomy here. This looks like a huge ship cabin. Now, I have no idea what the fuck is going on here. No one can fit through here. What the f? Also, why is there like another portal gate here? Like, why is that here, not in the rows? And it's the same thing applies here. Look at that. Look at that. Why is it looks like Jesus is about to show up? There's leaking light. What the f? Look at the emergency exit here. Oh, great. There is none. We can see across the wing, which has this huge winglet for no reason. Look at this. Look at this. This is absolutely dreadful. This is just dreadful. This is an airplane to die in, honestly. But alright, come on, let's try to fly this airplane. Let's maybe try to land it, actually. Come on, put the landing gear down. The landing gear handle is here. Here's the landing gear handle, and there's actually two of them. Great. Have I mentioned that this airplane does not have autopilot? This thing has like the same functionality of like an ultralight. No, an ultralight has more functionality actually, because that at least has a radio sometimes, the handheld one. All right, anyway, we're going 110 knots or 100. Choose which one is right. Oh, landing gear is not down, but the landing gear is down. Okay. Well, the landing gear is down, isn't it?
Landing gear.
All right. We've got no GPWS callouts, and this airplane is just absolutely hideous. Let's see if we can reverse thrust and stop time. Come on, full power into the reverser. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You try, please. Oh my God. We've completely overrun this airplane. No, this is probably the worst thing I've ever done. I'm probably gonna get like, I'm gonna cry now. This is just not good at all. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters: Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Fanner, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.